Welcome back to the podcast. We've got Scott Lowe with us. How are we doing, mate?
Doing great. How are you, man?
Fantastic. All good. Like I said just before we come on, my anxiety is through the roof today, mainly because we put our first grit sessions out for a while. And hopefully it will land well. But anyway, that's enough about me. It's great to have you on the podcast. I do tend to waffle a little bit through these conversations, but
let's waffle, buddy. Come on.
Well, that's it. They're real conversations, dude. That's what it's about. People want to hear that type of stuff. It's not stagnant. So I know. I appreciate you reaching out to us. First of all, we kind of mix in similar circles with the Appalachian scene. You do an awful lot on TikTok, which we'll go into, and you've got some fantastic music, and it's completely up my street. That's why I wanted to talk to you and go into everything that you're doing, because I think you're doing something slightly different to a lot of artists out there, a lot more kind of Delta blues, real kind of heavy-hitting blues. So if you're into that type of music, absolutely go and check out Scott's stuff. But first of all, I like to kind of dial it back a little bit and start off light, mate. So where are you from?
Man, I'm kind of from all over. I currently reside in the very northeast corner of Georgia in the United States, right at the bottom end of the Appalachian Mountains. I was born in North Carolina, but I've kind of lived all over the country, and USA is very big, right? So, I mean, I lived in Washington State, about as far away as you can get in this country. So I've seen all kinds of different people, and I grew up outside of Chicago, so that's where kind of the blues come from, I think, is growing up outside of Chicago and seeing Buddy Guy and Albert Collins and all the like guys that were still kicking in the 90s when I was coming up.
Yeah.
I lived in Athens, Georgia, a big music hotspot for like 13, 14 years, played in like 23 bands in that town, and kind of sowed my oats musically there, you know.
So you've been a busy man.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long, long road. I've definitely got many different chapters and genres. Like, I went to school for jazz. I played in electronica bands. I played in, like, we used to have a MC battle band where we'd back up MC battles and stuff. So I've done all kinds of things, and I really think I've tried to like take all of this and put it into what I still do. You know, it's like I don't ignore anything I've done. I still listen to jazz every day, hip hop every day. I mean, I'm all over the map. So
yeah, no, I love that, and I love that, and it kind of resonates through your music. I'm very similar, you know, different eras, different moods. You know, getting older, you listen to different stuff, but yeah, it's great that you've had that kind of connection across the board. So what is your current hometown? If you mention
it's Clayton, Georgia, which is literally like the very northeast corner of Georgia. It's the northeast city town. It's not a city; it's a town. It's pretty small. I've lived up here for about almost 12 years now. And I lived in Athens for like 14 years before that. So I've been in Athens is still kind of northeast Georgia, but about an hour south of here.
Yeah. I think North Georgia has got some great artists going at the moment, independent people. Yeah, I know. I keep talking about her, but Jessie Williams is fantastic.
Yeah, she's killer. I was supposed to play a show with her a month ago, but I was taking a mental health break. So I didn't get to play it, but her new record's killer. All the content she's been doing, very DIY, is very killer. I could sit here and list 20 North Georgia acts that, you know, I think are great. I mean, just Georgia in general, I think has a bad name because there's a lot of really shitty country from Georgia.
Oh, really?
You know, like, I mean, Florida-Georgia line is the penultimate, but also like Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean and all these dudes are from Georgia. You know, it's like you got to kind of
You're getting tarred with that sort of brush over that way, are you?
I try not to be. I mean, honestly, I used to play a lot more Americana folk music, and I kind of shunned away from it just because it's like there's so much like racism and bigotry that goes on in country music, and I just was kind of fed up with it. And it really comes from a lot of these Georgia acts, you know? It's crazy.
That's interesting to hear. I mean, we over in the UK, we're kind of looking inwards towards what you guys are doing, and we're not in the scene, but we know a lot about it, so it's not quite the same. So I'd love to ask these sort of questions and to kind of get to know the intricacies of it, really.
Yeah, because I mean, I had a record deal with like a more Americana country sound for a couple records, my new vintage record, and Burning Tires, Smoking Guns, which on all streaming services that record's actually mislabeled as 2008, but it's actually 2018. It's just a little secret. I like to throw people off, I guess. I don't know. I don't know who did it, me or the distributor, but it's just going to live that way until I fix it.
Awesome. So is music your full-time occupation now? Are you got a day job still?
Nah, music is pretty much my full-time occupation. So I moved up from Athens to Clayton chasing down a lady, chasing some love, and now she's my wife. And when I moved up here, I had just quit drinking the booze, and I was handed a fly fishing rod. So 12 years ago, I put down the whiskey bottle, picked up a fly rod, and started fly fishing around the country as I toured and played music. And so instead of drinking every night, I'd get up in the morning and go fishing.
That's cool.
You know, and like I bought fishing licenses all over this country. And so when we started making babies, I decided to like tone down the touring to kind of like a little 2-3 hour radius, and we found a place with a trout stream on it, and I started teaching people how to fly fish. And so I did that for like the past 8 years, and I mean I was burning the candles at both ends, because like that was usually a morning activity, and then I'd go play a gig at night, and then get up and do that again, and over and rinse and repeat. And I ended up burning myself out pretty hard on the fishing thing. And so I kind of shut it down earlier this year. That was part of my mental health break. I was like, I need to like reevaluate and not be trying to do 4 careers at once, you know? And I really stepped back and really was like, all right, I'm going to finish this Grateful Blues record. I'm going to find me a booking agent and a manager and get this show on the road. And my kids are all like going to school now. My wife just bought this grocery store. This is like, seems like a good time to like spread my wings a little bit.
Good on you, brother. It's tough out there, isn't it? And we'll go into your music specifically in a minute, I think, because that'll be awesome to cover. But yeah, I always ask the question in terms of how people cope mentally, because, like you say, it's a draining industry. When you're independent, you're wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
It could probably feel very lonely, and if you put music out there and it feels like you're shouting into the ether,
you're like in my head already right here. You know, these are the things that go through my head like hourly, you know.
So what sort of things have helped you overcome? You talked about fly fishing, but my concern is obviously for you guys out there doing it, you know, I'd love to find ways that we can support, you know, in terms of the mental health aspect. But you've got younger people coming into the industry, perhaps not fully aware of what they're stepping into, because you've really got to want to do this gig almost, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's I think community is the one thing that really helps, because I think my mental health kind of struggled because I kind of isolated myself while I was doing this fishing and just kind of trying, like my Appalachian Blues record from last year was all self-produced, nobody else on the record. It was just me in my basement for like months, like being very in like solitary confinement kind of, you know. And I kind of think that was part of my downfall, was that it's not that I didn't ask my friends to come help me. It's that they just didn't have the time, or it just didn't work out, whatever. It's not their fault. You know, it's just like, I think I tried to bring people in, but then I was like, you know what? If y'all aren't going to help me, I'll just do it myself. And I think a lot of musicians fall into that a lot. You know, like if no one's going to be there, then I'll just do it all and then put it out, and whatever, what happens, happens. But really, it's like, there's tons of people out there that want to help you. It's just hard to kind of weed through the bullshit of like the people that are blowing smoke, or like people that talk big, you know, but don't really like follow through.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of that in the music industry where people are like, "Oh man, you're the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to get you on Sons of Anarchy or whatever." You know, it's kind of funny. You have the Sons of Anarchy poster behind you.
I was just going to say.
Because I actually, one of the biggest traumatic experiences I had in the music industry was I had a meeting with the production team of Sons of Anarchy, and they were going to use my music in the show.
Oh, right.
And like, we had like a phone call and then a big conference call, and then it just vanished. And it was just like so crushing to me, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, it's so hard to not get your expectations up in this industry because like you have to balance like ego and reality, you know. Because like people are like, "Oh, we're gonna put you on Sons of Anarchy. We're gonna put you on Sons of Anarchy," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, this is awesome. I feel great." And then like one day they just stop responding and stop calling me. You know, I'm just like, "What?"
Yeah.
And honestly, that happened in like 2016 or 17, and that sent me reeling for a couple years. You know, just like there was a whole lot around that too, where I was like meeting with big record labels and blah blah blah. And I think I just like everything just like fell apart kind of, and I just had to like kind of push through. So I think, you know, I think there I was just talking to my therapist about this, how it's like you have to have hope, but you can't have like I think it's balancing hope and expectation. You know, because like if you expect all these things to happen, like the letdown can literally kill your career. You know, like if you cannot handle the just crushing like feeling like you were on the highway and then the whole just bridge falls out, you know, that's what it's just like. And so I think being able to manage like hopefulness and like confidence in your art as opposed to like expecting that someone is gonna like usher you to this next level, you know.
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that. I think the industry's got a lot to say about how folk are treated sometimes because, like you say, they move on to the next thing and perhaps they don't realize the impact that it has on the individual, and that's not
Totally.
right. That's
Yeah.
not right, man.
That's why I when we opened this video podcast, that Sons of Anarchy thing was there, and I just started laughing because I was like, "That's so hilarious."
It was
like,
meant to be to talk.
I know.
To
I mean, and that it's so crazy that so many things in this industry are so synchronistic, and like even just like the people you meet, and like all the things that kind of build your story and the long road. I mean, I've played thousands and thousands of shows and met so many amazing people. You know, it's like I'm a really lucky dude, but I also have had these experiences where I feel like my life was ending because something didn't happen or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's difficult not to feel like that, like you say. It's I mean, I'm of the opinion that if something happens, great. I'm going to have no expectations with what I do. All I can do is, you know, put out the best work or material that I can, you know, at my disposal. If people like it, it's fantastic. If they don't, there's going to be people that don't like your stuff.
Totally.
But you know, I'm speaking to, and this is where we've been very lucky. We've met some fantastic people in the industry, artists mainly. Nobody owes us anything, but they've brought us into this community, and that goes back to that. And I think we keep those people close because we're like, if we can do anything for you, if you ever come to the UK, you know, we'll kind of bend over backwards to support you as best as we can. And if you can do anything for us, great. But it's never any expectation. But I love, you know, I think it was Josh Mitchum who told me once, you know, it's like, with your career, you're always trying to put yourself at somebody else's table, you know, trying to get in there. And someone told him, you know, why not build your own table? Build something that somebody wants to go to what you're doing and be a part of that. So I'm trying to
build a barn.
And he built out an incredible barn. And I thought, that's, I don't have a barn, but you know,
it's funny because I actually, part of my fly fishing business is we built a big stage down there, and I actually hosted 2-3 concerts a month down there for the past 8 years. And I had a big spring festival, and that was kind of when I was like, okay, I need to like take a break. And like that was the spring festival this year was when I actually was like, all right, I'm trying to like be a talent buyer and a fly fishing guide and the talent and whatever, you know. I was just trying to do too much, and I like kind of just like melted down. You know, and so it's like There is, yes, build your own table, but don't build too damn many, you know?
Yes, that's a good thing too.
Because that's what I did. I think I was trying to facilitate for so many people on top of trying to like, you know, it's like, I think we got to set up our friends for success, you know? That's part of this whole thing is like helping build our community. But then there's a point where like you can overextend that, you know, and it was affecting my home life, my music, all kinds of things. And, you know, when I kind of shut down my front yard music venue fly fishing business, so much weight was off my shoulders, and it allowed me to like see my music a little more clearly and like focus on that, you know. And that can be depressing at sometimes, but you know, it's like you release music into the world, and like I say, you just never know how it's gonna be responded or land or whatever, you know, or take off running.
But you've got to do it for yourself, haven't you? And that's what I've learned from speaking to many different artists and the people. A similar theme comes up. It's, you know, make the music for yourself. And the people that like that music, you know, you'll create that fan base from doing it. But if you try to be somebody else, trying to make music for that particular venue or that festival, you're going to end up hating what you do. So,
I mean, it's kind of crazy because this new album I've been working on is like a kind of a tribute album. You know, it's the Grateful Blues. It's all like blues music that the Grateful Dead created. And I've never done this before. I've never done someone else's music. I'll take that back. I did do a couple jazz albums, which is like jazz standards, but it's a little different. There's like with this Grateful Dead thing, there's lore and there's stories and which I'm sure there is in some jazz circles, but you know, it's just a little different. So it's kind of feel like I'm almost like pimping somebody else's art a little bit, you know. Like it's a weird situation. I kind of can't wait to like get back onto my stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, as a Grateful Dead fan, I'm into that. I'm digging it big time, mate. And
yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm so proud of it. And honestly, it's probably one of my best records I've made. And that could be because there was already a foundation set for me. You know, it was like there was already kind of like a launch pad, you know.
Yeah. So have you got a good history with the Grateful Dead then? Always think, you know, because I love the new version of it, the Dead and Co. with John Mayer. I'm a big John Mayer fan.
It's not the Dead, but it's not
the same.
Worst.
I get it.
It's not Jerry.
Around.
And really, it's like that. Like the last like there's only like 2 members. You know, it's like it's getting to the point of like that's why I was like I better do this now while they're still kind of kicking a little bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, and really, it's like I feel like. You know, like it's the Dead community is so like everyone's. I mean, you know, the word kind. People are kind. You know, be kind in Grateful Dead. That's just like, and people are kind. You know, and it's like they really are very supportive. And I kind of knew that going in. I was like, man, these people are gonna eat this shit up. You know, and it's gonna be awesome. And we're all gonna hug and freaking smoke one and have a good old time. You know.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I've been really enjoying the feedback so far. I mean, we've only released that one song, but I've been really loving like all the Deadheads coming out, and because it's really it has a very thick Grateful Dead vibe, but it's still very blues and very like, you know, I try to keep it very authentic and not a lot of synthesizers or, you know, bleeps and bloops, very real instruments and
strip back. Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it's honestly like I say, this is probably one of the most, I mean, I self-produced this thing right here where I'm sitting, you know, and it's like we did all the recording in this little tiny 12 by 12 room. And I mean, it's nothing fancy, but you know, it's like, with the technology today, I can make a hit record in my basement. And I learned that with my Appalachian Blues record. And so I was like, all right, I did that all by myself, no other instruments. I was like, all right, we're going to do drums, keys, percussion, horns, all kinds of stuff. And we'll see if it worked.
Water so low, these fish gon' drown. Might stand up, start walking around town. Grocery so high, got to work all night. All this work's covering up my light. Work so hard to afford your boxing hole.
It's interesting you say that, you know, doing the DIY stuff, because I had a previous guy on the podcast, and he was talking about the way he was doing it and investing thousands of pounds just in one single, and I was quite surprised by that. I thought that was a lot of money.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, I think, you know, there's so many people doing what I do that these studios are now charging more and more, because it's like they have to like pay the bills, you know, and it's like, but that's not a new development. Studio prices have, I mean, in the past 20 years have doubled, tripled, you know, but I mean, everything has. It's like the world of capitalism we live in here. And, you know, people just got to make that money, make that bag, you know. It's like, I mean, to my detriment, money is such I hate money. I love to function in barters, but it's so hard. I just dropped $2,000 on vinyl last night, you know. It's like, you got to make it. It becomes
an obsession, the vinyl stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love making vinyl. Making vinyl is one of my favorite parts about making music, and I have a huge vinyl collection, and putting your music on vinyl is definitely more important than spending thousands of dollars at a studio to me. I'd rather spend thousands of dollars on vinyl.
Yeah,
but you know, I guess if you got it, why not? You know,
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a song make me $1 million, I'd probably go to a really nice studio, you know, but that's not happened.
So the latest album then, that's on Bandcamp, isn't it?
Just the singles up so far.
Yeah.
There's a pre-order for the whole album, because the whole album comes out on October 10th. And so the whole album will be on Bandcamp, and it'll be everywhere except for Spotify, because I've decided Spotify can go jump off a cliff. So
yeah, I got that impression. I was like, it's not on Spotify, but I think a lot of people are gravitating to your way of thinking because of the way that artists are just not being compensated for.
Have you seen the stuff about the new service agreement they're dropping in September? Where like when you upload your music to Spotify, you are now signing away the rights, and they can use it in any way they want.
Wow.
And they can manipulate it. They can put it into AI and recreate whatever. That's going to be in the new Spotify service agreement, that you are giving up all rights to your music, basically.
That's scary.
Yeah, dude, like screw them. Like that dude's making billions, and I got 35 cents last quarter, you know? It's like whatever.
Yeah, it's not worth it. How do you think that? I mean, that's really interesting to know that that's the direction they're taking. I did hear some bits and pieces about it, but I wasn't fully in the know. Do you think a lot of people are going to go down your road?
About it. I shared a whole TikTok about it the other day. This lady like broke it all down, and it's scary, dude. It's like they can go back and touch anything they want that they have in their database of yours. You know, it's like it's wild. It like if everybody just needs to stop putting their shit on there, you know. Like,
I was going to say, do you think that will impact artists to go down your road a bit more?
Yes, I mean I hope so, and like I think we just all have to share this information and really like understand that, like, you know, if like more like I think like maybe you send a single every now and then to Spotify, maybe just because like it is such a huge exposure algorithm. You know, but it's also like I feel like it's getting less and less. And honestly, like when I release stuff, you know, like they'll put you into editorial playlists, and they keep putting me into country still, and I'm like, this is not country music, y'all. I mean, like blues is from the country, but it's like, y'all, like, because like the last 2 singles I put out, they put me on like modern country that doesn't suck, and I'm like, well, that's cool, but like you're not representing me. Right. You know? And so it's whatever. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about Spotify because it's really like they just stepped into a place that was already created by Napster and LimeWire and all the stuff that came before it. You know, it's like this is not their fault. They just stepped into a place and made a shit ton of money. You know, it's like, I mean, yeah, they could have probably dealt with it better, but
yeah, there comes a point where it's overreach, and I'm just so amazed by what line they're taking come September, like you say. So,
and that's why I'm going to make vinyl, because like, I mean, I can make good profit on that. And like, you know, I feel like it's something way more tangible than your phone in your pocket, you know? And like, I mean, I used to be so excited to bring home a stack of vinyl from the record store and sit there and read every damn word on it, you know? Like, you can't do that on Spotify. I can't. They don't even give you an option to put the like who played on the song, you know? It's like none of these streaming, well, some of them, Apple Music does have a little spot where you can go in and add notes and stuff about who played on the track, who mixed it, because like there's so many people that went into this recording, they all deserve credit, not just me.
Yeah.
You know, and like they get it on my record if I spell their names right and shit, you know, but that's what I've been going through the past week. My brother does all my graphic design, and there's like one little like all the track numbers were like 1 period, 2 period, and there was 1 period missing, and he was like, he kept saving it and it kept vanishing, and it was just like 30 times he sent it to me, and for some reason the little freaking decimal point kept just like vanishing during saving. So it's like, if it ain't one thing in the music world, it's another, you know. It's like I can't get the freaking file to save right, you know. And it's like he's a graphic designer and an artist, but I'm not, you know. It's like I'm a audio artist.
Yeah, man. It's so much effort, like you say. You're wearing so many hats, and you know, there's some great thing. I mean, what would you say is like, if on a positive note, what is the best thing about being independent and being in your position as it is?
Being able to play wherever I want and do it, and like really like I don't have anyone telling me like, you need to be making X amount of content a day, you need to be doing this and this and this. I kind of just am like yesterday I was depressed and I had to do a bunch of carpet ripping up for my wife, and I didn't have any energy to make any content, so I just posted a picture or whatever, you know. And it's like, it's fine, it's a Monday, whatever, you know. And so I can be like that and not have somebody being like, hey, you need to create 3 pieces of content every 4 hours or whatever, you know, or like, we need more singles, we need more whatever. I have been on a tear of releasing music, so like, ain't nobody gonna complain about that part. So
yeah, no, it's been interesting because I do follow your socials, and you know, you touched upon it in terms of taking that break for your mental health, and it seems that you've come back with this real energy, you know, reaching out to the likes of us, putting out music. It just seems like you're in a real different place, so it's good to see, man.
I think it's also a time now. Like I do think, that, you know, like listen, I just started playing slide guitar and like really laying into this blues stuff like 1.5 years ago, like right before I recorded the Appalachian Blues. Like, this is all like, I feel like I'm in high school again. Like this whole like playing slide guitar and these dobros and resonators. It's like I've found this whole new. It's like I picked up guitar again for the first time, and I think that's part of it. Is that I think I've always been kind of searching for the next sound. Like I don't like, you listen to my discography and it is just all over the place. You know, from folk music to electro folk to weird instrumentals to all kinds of stuff, you know. And I'm not trying. I've never wanted to be like pigeonholed in any genre. I've always kind of just wanted to be an artist, you know. And I think I don't want to be defined. And I think that I've really found a way to play music that has really, an analogy for it, I think, is like, I started playing this slide guitar, and with the slide guitar, there's really not notes. You know, like I'm not like hitting a note. I'm like finding it. You know, I'm finding my own notes, where it's like, it's not defined by frets or keys. It's like I can go woo, right? I have no, it's like a freaking slide whistle, you know. And it opened up this like microtonal stuff that I'd kind of like got into with Indian music and stuff, but being able to like I've for the longest time in my whole life, this is kind of some music theory nerd stuff, but somebody will appreciate this. I always thought the blues kind of lived between the 4 and the 5, because like blues is 1-4-5 chords, but also like the flat 5 into the 4 and the flat 5 into the 5 is very bluesy sounding. Okay. Once I started playing slide guitar and really messing with those like between the notes, I found that I really think the blues lives between the minor third and the third. And because like that is where happiness and sadness kind of lives in music, you know, as a minor chord to a major chord. And man, the power of like between that little half step of a minor third to a major third, I swear that's where the stank lives. And like just like the nasty mojo lives in manipulating the third. And it's so crazy. I ran into my jazz professor at a show recently, and I pulled out the slide out of my pocket, and I was like, look at this, bro. All that you taught me, it doesn't matter anymore, because I don't have notes anymore. I make my own notes, you know. And he thought it was hilarious. And and then we actually talked about that fourth and fifth and third stuff, and he was like, you know, there's something to that maybe, you know. And I mean, he's a very scholarly. He's like the head of the jazz department at a big time university now. He wasn't when I learned from him. He was kind of young, but now he's like Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's crazy to kind of all these, like the music world is like, there's this old George W. Bush quote, 1,000 points of light. It takes 1,000 points of light to bring this all together, you know? And I always talk about like how like there's just so many things that have to come together to create art that is, I mean, especially in this day and age, art that is original, you know, on top of art that is like inspiring, you know, or like that people want to gravitate to or make them feel something. You know, it's hard to do. There's how many albums a day get released or a week, you know, it's wild.
Every Friday you see that, don't you, on the Instagram mainly, and we're guilty of that too. And it's like, it almost feels like music is becoming so disposable, because every week something new is coming out, and it's like on to the next thing.
But I mean, it's been that way for 30 years. Yeah, you know, it's like there's so much music in the world, and it's so intimidating to think about. You know, but I like no one plays guitar like me. No one sings like me. No one sings like you. No one, you know, it's like we are all making something that will never be made by anyone else. And that will, and like, that's why AI will never win, you know? I mean, as much as some people may like surrender to it is what I kind of feel like is happening, you know, where I feel like, you know, like, AI cannot play slide guitar. I know that for damn sure, you know? Like, and so I'm very like I'm going to keep just cranking out records and throwing them at the damn wall, no matter if it gets 1,000 plays or 1,000,000 plays. That's what's going to happen for the next 5 years of my life. I'm going to take 5 years and just crank out records and to play as many shows as I can, because I'm not young. And I also like, I really want to give this a really like 5-year plan. Let's put out 12 records. Let's play 150, 200 shows a year all over the world. Let's give it as much of a try as we can. And I think that's giving me a lot of hope, you know, back to like, you know, it's like positive hope and finding ways that are the next step.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we always ask people, you know, what have you got a 3-year or 5-year plan? Some people like, don't know. I'm just going to go with the flow. But it's interesting. So you touched on a couple of things. Is that just something that sprung to mind now? Have you got a defined kind of realistic plan kind of for that time period?
I mean, I definitely, you know, like I think like just the goals of, you know, 2 to 3 records a year, whether it be whatever, I can do whatever I want because I don't have anybody telling me what to do, you know, so I can do a folk record, a country record, a blues record, whatever. I don't have to define myself. And I think like I'm kind of leaving open. And honestly, I had in my darkness of mental health issues I was having earlier this year, I had some massive explosions of writing, and that's usually like, the darkness brings out the best shit, and it sucks. But like the depression and divorce and all this stuff is when I've been my most prolific, because I've got something to say, and I honestly recorded like almost a whole record one night, and it's so far from anything I've ever done before, but I had to go take it off of my computer so I'd finish the Grateful Blues. So I have another record like almost done, and I'm calling it the Trap Blues. Trap music, hip hop, rap.
Gotcha.
Atlanta. It's like hip hop beats with like crazy swampy electric and slide guitar over it, with like mumble blues, kind of mumble rappy. I don't know. It was
that sounds fucking interesting.
Honestly, I've sent it to some people, and people got so excited. I had to be like, I cannot put my energy into this, because the Grateful Blues was this growing mountain. And when I signed with this manager, she's like, you got to pick one and finish it and get it out before the end of the year. So I did it.
I mean, it's so interesting where people find their inspiration. Like you say, through the kind of dark times, people find the best stuff, and I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because you're soul searching and you're reaching really deep, and you're finding more of yourself, perhaps. I don't know.
I think as artists, it's our way to fix it.
Yeah.
It's like getting that shit out. It's like therapeutic and cathartic. It's very like, I've got all this freaking emotion, and like I went to school for guitar and like spent years and years and years practicing and trying to be as good of a guitar player as I can. But virtuosity in music is not a thing anymore, really. It's like, that's not something people are searching for. I mean, like Billy Strings, there you go. He counts as a virtuosic music star. But like really, it's like, no, like we love the Tyler Childers, but it's not because they're like shredding. It's because it's got feeling and passion, and and I feel like that's what sets you apart now, is like authentic passion, authentic feeling, and because like, it's not like, yeah, it's all produced really well. Well, some people hate the new Tyler Childers, but whatever, the production does matter a little bit. Like, it can't sound like crap, but I think the root of the emotion and the passion is what really, the seed of it all is what's gonna like really set it apart now. I had a buddy come on my TikTok live the other night. No, I was on his TikTok live, and he's like, man, I was on your TikTok live the other night, and you play with such fire. And I'm like, I mean, is there any other way? I've always, like, I swear, I put a guitar on and I like immediately start sweating, because I know it's like, okay, this is my time, and I'm going to leave it all right here tonight, because like, what else? Like, if I don't leave it right here right now, I'm going to be toiling with all this energy the next 24 hours till the next show, or feeling like I didn't give it all. And so like, I mean, I play a ton of 3-hour sets and stuff around here, and man, I will just be like exhausted. Like yesterday, I was so dragging ass helping my wife cut carpet out of her new store. I had just played 5 nights in a row, and I was just like mentally, emotionally, physically, just like, I don't know how I'm cutting this carpet right now.
But she's still making you do it as well.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah,
and we didn't get it. We didn't get a ticket from the city, so we did it all without them finding out.
Good on you, dude. But when we mentioned your TikTok right at the beginning, and every time I see your name pop up, I always pop in to see what you're up to. And
thanks,
like you say, you're in that moment. You're shredding. It's like you're leaving everything there. But it's interesting because I so we speak to lots of artists on the road or on the podcast, and I always say, what does it feel like when you're up on stage? Some people say, well, kind of on autopilot. It feels like you're driving, some miles, and you think, oh shit, I'm driving, and they kind of come back to the room. Do you have those moments?
Yeah, and I definitely battle with that a little bit, because I feel like like music is so my flow state. Music is like my happy place, my utopia, whatever, and I can't forget that I'm also performing, because sometimes I will totally just like, and I think a lot of that comes from me playing, like coming up playing jazz, because when jazz, like you have to be so just like into the band and into the chord changes and all the improvisation going on, you have to respond. And I kind of manage my band a little bit like that, where it's like there's no instructions, let's feel it. If we feel it, it'll be fine, and sometimes that doesn't work, but it usually does. So I don't know. I guess so. These podcasts, man, I go off on. I have so much to say. I feel like, and I just go on these crazy tangents. But I love it. It gets my neurons firing. Like I have so much I want to spread to the people. And like.
No, carry on, mate. We've got a really cool audience where they love the long form chat, and we go down these. Like I said, I waffle on, and we go down these rabbit holes. I forget what I meant to be asking you, but we'll come back to it eventually. It's that type of place. One question I love to ask Scott is, not being from your world, when you go up on the stage, and me being an introvert, I find it daunting, going in front of anyone. These podcasts, I can get a bit anxiety doing, not knowing the people. But when you're engaging your audience or a new audience, have you got any kind of icebreakers, any ways that you kind of start interacting with the crowds?
So I play lots of different kinds of places. Everything from little bars to wineries, breweries. Like I live in a place where there's lots of whitewater rafting and kayakers, and I play a lot of like whitewater rafter kayaker parties. And so I think it's a very like play to the room vibe, where it's like you got to kind of like. I play a lot of poker too, and I think like that skill of being able to read people and read the room and read like people's reactions. Like, I mean, even like the first few notes of the song, you can kind of see movements, or like whatever. And so I think it's a very acquired skill, I guess, to like be able to like see your audience and kind of like figure out what the vibe needs to be, what the next song needs to be, how I need to talk to them, like what kind of stories, because like the demographic, like I just played a animal shelter benefit Sunday, and it was a very older white crowd, right? And so like it was crazy too, because like I had played the same place the night before, just like as a normal dinner gig, like a little 3-hour solo gig. And it's like an oyster bar, like killer food. It was a great place. And the next, he was like, also asked me to play this benefit. And I was like, sure, like I love puppies, so. But it was very like a very different crowd both nights, like the first night was very like families and people just hanging out eating oysters, and Saturday night, people drinking and whatever. And the next night was like middle of the afternoon, a bunch of people in there like Sunday best, and like most of them probably over 60. And so it was a very different, like I was like, all right, we're gonna play like more of like the jazzier stuff and like the more finger pick stuff and like tell some stories and like the story, like I have many different stories throughout my life I can tell, and it's like they have to be appropriate for that,
So you got to curb the trucker jokes and some of the
right
other stuff.
Like so, like I play a dobro style resonator guitar, and this old man comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you probably get a lot of comparisons to Curtis Lowe, right? The Leonard Skinner song." And I'm like, I do. And so like I have a story about that song where like I was playing in Jacksonville, Florida, the home of Leonard Skinner, right? And I was playing with who was it? It was an old band from Lexington, Kentucky called the Crosstown Rivals. I'm sure your Kentucky folks would remember them. They were quite the get up. And we got double booked, and the venue decided that they were choosing the other show. And so I was broke up with my now wife. We're not married yet. And so Tinder had just come out, like the dating app. And so we decided on that tour that we were all going to get on Tinder and just swipe right on everybody to tell people about our shows. Okay. So it's like a dating app we were basically using as like musical promotion. And so this night in Jacksonville, this one girl comes. I don't even know who she had matched with or whatever, but I had fully convinced this girl that Curtis Lowe is my granddaddy. Okay. And like Curtis Lowe in the song, like Curtis Lowe's an old black man with white curly hair is literally how the song opens. You know, it's like, if you don't know anything about this song or Skynyrd, like, you're obviously going to get fooled that Curtis Lowe is my granddaddy, you know? And so like, I tell that story a lot, but I did not tell that story to these 70-year-old retirees. You know, it's like they probably don't even know what Tinder is. You know, it's like, so I think
it will be lost on them completely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's like you got to kind of play to the room and like understand that like the more you can be attainable and like the more that people can relate to you, the more they're gonna respect your art. I feel like, which I think is there. Once again, it's a fine balance. Like you can't like I'm not gonna sit here and play all the covers because that's not me. You know, there's a certain balance of being an artist and an entertainer, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah,
and I think there's a fine balance of that. Like because if like you're just completely an artist and don't give a shit about what anybody thinks or whatever, like yeah, you could be successful, but I think it's like I want to have friends and family and community, and I think like being like this like blind artist, you're gonna miss that. You're gonna miss the connection of the people, and that's honestly why I quit playing jazz. I was like, man, I just don't feel like I'm attaching to my audience. I feel like I'm so internal that I'm not available, kind of, and so I think. But see, it's like they're like be super available or be like mysterious, and it's like it's a fine balance of like having some mystique about it, and not just being like like I don't know. I don't want to compare it to anyone.
Yeah, it's I suppose it's a degree of emotional intelligence, isn't it? Like you say, you don't want to be one of those people that just doesn't give a shit at all and does your own thing and doesn't care about the crowds in front of you. But you've got to, like I say, remain honest, remain true to why you're doing it, why you're there.
Totally.
Otherwise, you just become another, like you say, entertainer, should we say, like the people that we know.
Yeah,
online.
or like I mean, just somebody that's not really like giving because I think like you have to respect the art. Like like if you don't respect the art, then you don't then your entertainment ability is not authentic, right? And so like it's 1,000 points of light, right? All this stuff has to come together to make your art right and authentic and real, so I don't know, it's such a balancing act, the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean, I love, talking about the different scenes and how you guys perceive it. And, the UK is a bit of a weird entity at the moment. I think country is a bit of a poser's game at the minute over here. If you listen to the radio, and I've said this many times, you're only going to find like pop country. You've got to really dig deep to find people like you, Nick Jameson, who we had on previously, and all these other awesome people. They're not on the radio, and even with the festivals here, there's maybe one or two that might play them. But
I will say I've had more radio play in the UK in the past 2 weeks than in the US.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. I'll send you the list of all the UK stations.
Yeah, please do, man. I'll be interested to connect with those guys because obviously they got good taste.
And I think I also, because like with my music, especially with this Grateful Blues thing, it has like it can go into Americana, it can go into blues, it can go into Grateful Dead jam band world. It's kind of got a multi-headed genre thing going on. And I think that's probably maybe the radio folks will respond in different ways, you know, where like I can get onto the Grateful Dead hour, I can get onto the blues hour, you know, and especially on those independent stations, like I can't even remember. I was talking to I don't want to change my screen and look who it was, but it was somewhere up in Scottish Highlands. And he was like, how did you even know that I played your music? and like, I was like, well, there's a digital footprint and like it gets reported, like the meta. I've learned all this stuff pretty recently. Like since I released Appalachian Blues, you know, you embed all the information into the music and then like Spinitron reports it all. And like anytime that song gets played all over the world, Spinitron's picking it up. It's freaking crazy, bro. And so I was like, yeah, it's this digital footprint thing that you put into the music. And because he was like shocked that I was like, how do you, like, we're like a tiny little radio station in the Scottish Highlands, like, and they've honestly played it twice. Cause I was like, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give whoever plays this music, I'm literally going to like shower them with love, you know, because like, they probably don't get a lot of that, you know. They probably get a lot of like, hey, will you play my music? And then they never hear from them again, you know. So I was like, I went and like made thank you emails for all these DJs, and they've gone and they keep playing it, you know. It's like scratch my back, I scratch yours type of thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to give something back, isn't it? Like you say,
Yeah.
and I think it's reciprocal all round with podcasts, with radio, with artists. I think that community and that friendship, you know, it's a good synergy. But no, it's interesting you say that about the Scottish Highlands. We might know them. It'd be, yeah, if you send me them after, I'll dig them out. But yeah, most random of places that people find where people are listening to the music, whether it's over in Australia, South America, people get quite a lot. It's crazy, isn't it? Now that you can really home in and see where people are listening.
Oh, yeah, and dude, the blues is big everywhere. It's wild. And honestly, like, I honestly think, like, you know, the blues is kind of the root of all American music. You know, like, all American music kind of goes back to the 20s and blues and kind of New Orleans jazz mixed with, like, church music and stuff, right? And so, like, I mean, the blues, if we want to boil down, like, what is the greatest thing to come from our country? Like, music is probably one of it. You know, music, I mean, capitalism sucks, obviously. Democracy's failing. Baseball's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. Like, we have a couple food items, but music is definitely like rock and roll, blues, country. All this stuff is like inherently American, you know? And like, there ain't no country without blues. There ain't no bluegrass without blues. There ain't no rock and roll without blues, you know? And so I think, like, I mean, there's a huge blues scene all like in Spain and Italy and Brazil, you know, like, and I did with the Appalachian Blues album, I did interviews in Italy, Brazil, like Netherlands, Norway, you know, and those are hard because you have to have Google Translate running and it's very difficult to do. But, you know, I definitely like, I see, my mission is to get over to Europe at some point in the next year or two, because like I get way more response from over there than I do here almost, you know?
Yeah.
But also here, it's like the US is so freaking big and there's so many people putting out music. I feel like it's just overwhelming to a lot of people, you know? And, you know, the blues, I don't know if I can go here, but all right. The blues scene in America is very weird, where it's like, it's a lot of old people that have like this preconceived notion of what it should be, you know, when like I look at Billy Strings and what he's done to bluegrass and the whole America, like how he's like bled genre lines. He's done so much for bluegrass by playing more than bluegrass, you know, and I kind of feel like that's what I'm trying to do with this Grateful Blues. I'm really trying to like blur the lines and not be it like I just played this like blues challenge, which I won, but that's a whole nother story. And one of the things that people talked about was my outfit, and that drove me crazy.
What were you wearing? I've got to ask.
I was wearing these light blue, like kind of baggy hiking pants they're like Patagonia, like $100 pants. They're not nothing to turn your nose up at, old lady. And then I had like a button down, like pearl snap, like purple plaid shirt on, and like maybe this hat. And like she was like, your outfit didn't really respect the genre. And I was like, what? Like, you want me?
That's the weirdest thing to say,
bro. Like, it caught, like, I posted that on a Facebook post, and some other judge came in there and like was like, you can't be slamming our judges, blah blah blah. I'm like, I didn't slam anybody. I just literally said what was on the judge's sheet. It was like factual, you know. And so, but I think that's like, there's kind of that mindset with blues over here where these people like expect it to be something, you know? And so like, I'm definitely like, I'm fighting a little battle of being this kind of weird freak hippie Appalachian hillbilly, you know? It's like when these people are like, what is this? You know, like, and I think, you know, it's like, I'm not going to put on a suit, you know, or like what is a blues uniform? Like, if I think, you know, it's like, is it overalls? Is it a suit? Is it slave chains? I don't fucking know. You know, it's like it's a blues suit to me is authenticity. You know, it's like, you got to feel that shit and it's got to be real or it's not, it's going to like, there is some straight freaking Muzak blues out there that I could send you that is like so freaking painful. You know, it's like blues has to swing and shuffle and have like swag, you know, it's not just like bum ba bum ba bum ba bum, you know, it's got to have some freaking stank on it, you know.
Absolutely.
And,
I mean,
that's how I dress. I dress stanky. I feel like I got amazing style.
You
know?
cannot be pigeonholed. Yeah, exactly, mate. I will back you on that, dude.
Thanks.
Absolutely. I mean, not quite the same, unfortunately, but
I mean, black t-shirts are obviously in.
That's because I'm a little bit overweight, and black is slimming apparently.
It's slimming, right?
That's my trick. That's how I trick you. But
I got my
I mean, I love the history of the blues, man, and you know, I love the kind of the kind of British bands went over there back in the day, like the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and they brought that stuff back.
Right.
One of my favorite bands, early Free with Paul Rodgers and you know,
good
those
stuff,
guys. You know.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's like blues have like literally infected a lot of countries, you know, and like I think British was really early, but I think, you know, like Italy followed, and like there's a huge blues scene in Italy. It's crazy. Like I've gotten multiple, Violi's got multiple plays in Italy. Australia loves it. You know, it's like, it's wild that like the blues are almost it's almost cooler not in the United States. You know, like it's almost like the United States sees it almost as antiquated, I feel like, you know, where like the rest of the world, it's still kind of like,
yeah,
I mean, because it's amazing. It's such an amazing art form that came from this country, but you know, it's over 100 years old here, you know, and like, and you know, I mean, what is the pathway from the blues to Taylor Swift? You know, it's like, that is a crazy journey that music goes on, you know?
It has infected so many people, man. And I think country's had a real resurgence over recent years, you know.
I agree.
And
I think
blues
like
are
authentic country, you know, I think, you know, like the whole, like, I mean, I give Kentucky about 1,000% credit between Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, Tyler Childers, you know, and then maybe throw in the Canadian Coulter Wall. Between those four, I think the resurgence, you know, it began 12, 14, 15 years ago.
Definitely, yeah.
Like, I think Southeastern and Turtles or Meta-Modern Sounds, and then like Traveler, you know, like those were definitely like turning points in American music, you know, and we're still feeling like the ripples are growing still, you know, like, I mean, I listen to all that stuff, man. I love Kentucky songwriters. They're some of my favorite people, you know, and, you know, like you talk about Lance and Josh and all these guys, and it's a great world up there. I need to go back up there and play. I was on a pretty good route up there for a while, but it's been once I started this fly fishing business, I kind of just stuck in my little hole down here. So
yeah, man. Yeah,
But
definitely get back out there. There's some of the most welcoming people, as you know, and I just love the scene there. I'm hoping to get out there next year. So if you're around, man, we'll go together.
Yeah, maybe we can bring we did a couple Kentucky, I had hosted Kentucky feature nights here where I had Grayson Jenkins and who else was the first one? I just remember Grayson. I don't know. There was 4 dudes from Kentucky came down once, and Lance and somebody else came down last year. And I kind of try to be hey, grab 3 buddies and come down here and play my stage, and I'll hook you up with we'll find a couple other shows on the way, So I really love to facilitate, like I said, but I think I overextended myself, like I said. So I'm definitely going to fire up my stage again one day, but right now I'm trying to find other real stages.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's really pleasing to hear you're in a good place, man. It's you look good.
It's
obviously.
A daily battle. It's a daily battle of being okay.
Sure.
And I definitely put on a mask for you a little bit because I definitely have had a couple rough days, and I had a couple shitty shows last week, and I've been I totally missed my therapy yesterday because I was ripping up carpet and forgot. So I'm gonna go here in a little bit, but it's you gotta make time for yourself. And I have a problem doing that because I will literally practice for 4 hours, then go play a 4-hour show, and not really take a break. And I'm I think coming from the jazz world, I learned that I'm way better if I practice. And I practice a lot, and I think that I want to be the best I can be. I want to respect the art. And like I say, with this slide guitar stuff, I feel like I'm such a kid with it, and I'm just it's I'm learning stuff every day, and it's so much fun, and I love it. So I think it's crazy because I say I probably shouldn't be working on music 10, 12 hours a day, but it brings me such joy and such peace. It's where I'm happy. So it's once again, back to balance. I've got to balance these things, and I think it's hard for a lot of us musicians to find that balance, without getting burned out or whatever.
Everyone's different, aren't they? And, I think if I live in a different space, so, in the podcast world or the session stuff that we're doing now, if we've done something I don't think is good quality, or it's been a bad conversation, or the technology's crapped out on us, which always happens. You go away, pissed off, and it plays on your mind. But for me, I like to bury myself in my kind of day work, and I think I need to get away from doing it just for a little bit.
Right.
And that's how I find my peace. But each to their own, mate. It's if with what you've been through, if you could kind of say to a younger musician up and coming, 1 or 2 things to kind of help them with mental clarity, what might that be?
I think if it doesn't bring you joy or make you happy, then fuck it. If it's going to bring you down, then don't put your energy there, and that may just turn you off from music. And I'm sorry, but it's if you feel like it's so hard and you're not finding joy, then I don't think it's worth bringing your mental health down for it. If the reason you picked up an instrument is because you had fun playing with your friends around a campfire, then go do that. Don't try to be Tyler Childers. I feel like there's a lot of people that try to ride coattails, not necessarily ride coattails, but just follow the procedure of what they see these other guys doing. And it's they've already done it, why would you do the same thing? I think try to be original, authentic to yourself, but don't let the bullshit drag you down. And if it does, then walk away from it and do something, do it differently. It doesn't have to be quit music, but if the Sons of Anarchy people piss you off, find another way, and find another way that you have more control over. I think once you start relinquishing control and letting other people, and there definitely gets to a point where you have to, and it's hard. It's so hard to trust people in this business. But I think if you can be authentic to yourself, you will find people that are more authentic to you as well. You know, if you are true to your art and to your heart, then the people will be as well. I may be an idiot. I don't know.
No, I love that advice, mate. It's it's your advice. It's neither right or wrong. It's where you've been and where you're coming from. So
use it or throw it out the window. I don't care either way.
Look, we had an awesome guy on the last podcast called Jared Dawes, and what I like to do, just as a bit of fun as we kind of wrap things up, is do something called Pass the Mic. So I say you can ask the next guest, and they never know who it is. Sometimes I forget who it is, and I say ask them anything, and it could be music related or it could be otherwise. So Jared's question to you is, and this is an interesting one: have you ever been caught short while you've been playing or on stage? So in his situation, he really needed a piss, and he had to piss in a bottle. So have you ever been to that extent where you've eaten something bad, or you've just been caught short and you're in the middle of a set?
I mean, I definitely have gotten ill, like, at shows, and, like, have been, like, puking off the stage before, or, like, having to be like, I gotta take a break, and, like, you know, I mean, yeah. And I think, you know, like, it was actually pretty recently, and just talking about it makes me nauseous.
Bringing back memories now. Thanks, Jared.
Oh, God. Yeah, I live up in the mountains, and, like, there's not a straight road around here, you know? And so, like, I had to play, it was like a holiday weekend, and I was playing, like, a Sunday afternoon show, but I'd played, like, late the night before, and so I probably slept in too late, and so I'd, like, haul ass to get to my gig. But, like, driving those mountain roads, I don't know what happened. I got to that gig, and I, like, was just throwing up anything I put into me. I may have eaten something bad, I don't know, but I definitely was, like, loading shit in, like, loading, like, and then setting up, and then, like, between sets, and, like, I didn't have to leave the stage, though, but it was like when I got off stage, I was like,
immediately, yeah.
And it could have been food, it could have been, like, friggin' mental health drugs, you know, it's like there could have been so many things. And so, yeah, I've definitely been caught. I mean,
thanks, Jared, for that question. Well, you can get your own back on someone now, mate. You can either ask him a really deep question or just something ridiculous. So I won't tell you who we got on next week, but what's your question for them, mate?
What is the favorite song you've ever written and why?
You've been very kind.
I mean, I want people to talk about their favorite shit. You know,
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about new music very much, you know, but it's like I thought Viola Lee was my favorite song on my new record. But cause like it was the first one that really jumped at me. But then once I got everything mixed, it's like number 5, you know? So like your favorite song today is probably different than next week. You know, to me it is. Like I literally like, because like right now my favorite song to play in the world right now is Swing Low Sweet Chariot. Like why? I don't know. I just freaking love it. I'm having so much fun playing that song, and people are responding to it.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I do it like this old like Bessie Smith kind of blues version, and people be loving it. So it's like, your favorite song doesn't have to be yours you've written, I guess. It could be anything. What's your favorite song to play? What's your favorite song? What is your favorite song in the world? It could be freaking a song you heard. I don't care.
Something like, I just think now. Yeah.
Yeah, like what, like, cause like really it's like my favorite song on the album is not my song, you know, cause I didn't write any of these damn songs on this album, which is freaking weird. But you know, it's like, I think I actually moved, my favorite song probably is the first 2 songs on the album are my favorite now, because that's why I put them there, because I was like, I'm not going to release these as singles. I want these people to open this record and these 2 be like, oh shit, you know, like this is going to be awesome, you know? So
yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of that. If you can give me a sneak peek, mate, I'll be infinitely grateful.
Yeah, I just made a SoundCloud private link this week, so I'll send you one.
Oh, you're a legend, man.
Just a greeting, well he wrote it, then he wrote it, down indeed it. Just a greeting, look he wrote it down.
like we say, music is a complete mood, and something that is your favorite song today, I don't want to fucking hear ever again, or for at least a good while.
Bro, let me tell you, I talked about Chris Stapleton, The Traveler, that record. Like, when that came out, I was like, good Lord, this is it. I was like, this is soulful, this is blues, this is country, this is like everything. He can sing his ass off, he can play guitar, the production is killer, and now I fucking hate that record. Like Tennessee Whiskey was me and my wife's wedding song before the Justin Timberlake like Grammys performance or whatever, before he really blew up. And like our friends like played it, and like my buddy can sing like Chris Stapleton and killed it at our wedding. And now I like can't even hear that song. It's like the free bird of like there's like that basket of songs that's like Free Bird, Wagon Wheel, Tennessee Whiskey, Chicken Fried, these like, that's a Brown Eyed Girl might fall into that. Like there's this like handful of songs that are like
overplayed stuff that you just
the ones that are like they're almost like wedding music now, which is weird. Why does that? I don't know. That's such a weird thing. Like, how does that song get to that point in my mind? I don't know. But it's. I think like I think like something can be so amazing to you today and then hate it in a year. And it's such a weird like artist. Like thinking about that as an artist, it's like you may make someone's favorite thing of 2025 and it may be their least favorite thing of 2026. It's like, what?
It's kind of like making it though, isn't it? It's like, they've listened to it so much they just want a timeout from Scott Lowe, perhaps.
Bro, if I could never hear the Grateful Blues again, I would be fine. Like, I love it and I'm so proud of it, but like if I could never hear that shit again, I would be like, my Appalachian Blues record I put out last year, I probably only heard it like once since I released it. Maybe. Probably not even all the way through, I made a couple, like I hear it because I made like marketing shit with it and like TikTok videos and stuff, but like I haven't sat and listened to the record, and like I don't really plan to, like maybe one day, I don't know.
I think you circle around.
I know the Grateful. Yeah, I mean, like I know the Grateful Blues is really good. I'm just not going to sit here and rock it. Like I've already done that 1.7 million times, I think. So why I'm getting a phone call on my phone and it's Starbucks. Like, why is Starbucks calling me? That's weird. Capitalists are coming for me.
They heard you talking about them, I think, and Starbucks is the first one to come after you.
I drink coffee. I drink tea. So.
Oh, me too. Yeah, we're English, so it's always tea, man.
I mean, I drink green tea though, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's far too healthy for me, mate. No, it's Builder's tea here.
My rock and roll stomach,
sugar.
From like free booze every night for 20 years, my rock and roll stomach just like gave out on me. So I was like, we need a healthy option to coffee, and
coffee is a struggle these days, especially the strong stuff. So I stick to tea, stick to what I know, and life's pretty good for me.
I like my green tea.
I've got two more questions for you, mate. So for people that are perhaps they're not steeped in the blues, or they want to go down a rabbit hole, if you could pick like one album from any kind of blues artists throughout history that they should go to and have a good listen to kind of get acquainted, what might that be?
Good Lord. I mean, my initial idea was like one of the first two Taj Mahal records, because it's very like Giant Steps, and I think, what was the other one called? I don't know. Those first two Taj Mahal records, because I think they're both very attainable, and they're recorded well, and so like a lot of the like OG blues stuff just sounds bad, and it's hard to like really like enjoy. I feel like even for me sometimes like Robert Johnson's cool, but like it sounds kind of shitty,
It
and
does,
like,
yeah. I agree,
and it's like I don't really want to like rock that like loud in my car, where like I can put that Taj Mahal record on and be like, hell yeah, let's go, you know? And so I think, you know, Taj Mahal's kind of a weird blues artist. So if you think about it, you know, he's kind of this like bohemian beatnik hippie, like we're all kind of flamboyant stuff, which back to the outfit, like Taj Mahal's wearing freaking scarves and wide brim hats and all kinds of stuff.
She knows
you know?
nothing, mate. You know, I'll back.
Yeah, it's like whatever. That lady had blue hair anyway. Whatever. Anyway, so I think those records are a very good introduction into blues too, because like Statesboro Blues is on it, and like Statesboro Blues I think is very like, if you've heard the Allman Brothers, that would maybe like open you up into a little more. And like supposedly the Allman Brothers even like copied the Taj Mahal version. Like even the guitar solo is very, very similar.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that like Dwayne really stole those licks from. It wasn't even Taj playing him; it was some other guy. I can't remember his name right now, but so that's probably my vote. And I definitely like. I feel like It's funny. When I started playing the slide guitar stuff, I was like, all right, the goal. I had this whole thought process that like, you know, a lot of our heroes are dying. You know, a lot of the icons of music are really kind of like, you know, getting old and passing away. And, you know, like if there's somebody that I could choose to like want to play a show with or hang out with, I was like, all right, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, those are like maybe a little lofty. I don't know how you get to hang out with Bob Dylan. Anyway. But I was like, Taj Mahal, man, I feel like I could probably hang out with Taj Mahal, you know? And so Taj Mahal has kind of been the goal that like, if I could play a show with Taj or whatever, I think that's kind of like what I'm aiming for, you know? Even though I will say I'm very kind of disappointed with the new Taj Mahal and Kebmo record. It's a little music-y. I was like, these two dudes are freaking heavyweights, and we got some like programmed drum beats and shit, y'all. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I think Taj Mahal is my spirit animal and also a great place to start.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, mate. Yeah, I love Taj Mahal. Like you say, it links with the Allman Brothers, which is probably my all-time favorite band, and Fillmore East. You know, what an album. It's, you know.
Yeah, and I think my slide guitar stuff, it's opened some crazy, like, I think people wanted to talk to me about the slide guitar and Dwayne and the Allman Brothers and stuff is really cool, especially from being from Georgia. You know, it's like I can't think of another like slide guitar player from Georgia since Dwayne, really. You know, maybe like, I mean, Jason Isbell was here in the Truckers, but he's not really known as like a slide guitar player, even though he's a killer slide guitar player. And he's really from Alabama, so I don't know. I think like they're like where, you know, I think in music I've been thinking about like the spawn of certain artists, you know, like John Mayer. We were talking about John Mayer and the Dead and Company earlier, and like, you know, I think there's a whole big like kind of like the descendants of John Mayer going on right now, like Noah Kanan and Hozier and like even Zach Bryant to an extent, you know. I think there's a lot of or like the Tyler Childers family tree or like the Allman Brothers family tree or whatever, you know. Like I kind of like look at music like that, and you know, I feel like there's not like there's Derek Trucks, but like there's really not a lot of like Dwayne clones, you know, or like people that like you really like I mean Warren Haynes, Derek Trucks, and then the list kind of gets short. You know,
and like, there's not many virtuosos like you mentioned earlier. I can't,
and that might be it. That like virtuosity is not something that is like sought out in music anymore. You know, but I think like, you know, like somebody's got to carry on this slide guitar stuff. Even though I'm not really younger than Derek Trucks, like we're about the same age, so he might even be younger than me actually. But you know, so it's like I feel like, and also like. There was a big Atlanta blues scene back in the 20s and 30s that a lot of people don't know about. Blind Willie McTell, Barbecue Bob, Curly Weaver, all these dudes.
I love the names. They're amazing.
Yeah, dude, Barbecue Bob literally would like be out in the smokehouse cooking the barbecue and then come out and play music in the restaurant, like in Atlanta. It's kind of crazy though. So all these dudes played 12 strings, which I think is kind of wild. And like you don't really think about in blues very much, but they also played slide on 12 strings, which is like masochistic and hard as hell to do because you have 12 damn strings you're trying to connect with a piece of metal or glass or whatever. And if they don't connect, they sound like garbage. So I think I've been really like, there's a bunch of 12 string on the Grateful Blues record. Actually, we have a new single coming out on September 26th and it's all 12 string. And so I really try to be a historian and like really respect the past, but make something fresh, you know? And so I think, you know, like the Atlanta blues scene never, like the original, like back when like Robert Johnson was kicking and even pre-Robert Johnson, you know, 20s, 30s, there was this big scene and like no one ever talks about the Atlanta. It's always, you know, New Orleans to Memphis to Chicago or whatever, Delta to up north, you know, and Atlanta don't get its props. And so I've been trying to like bring back the 12 string stuff and, you know, really kind of like maybe not so much like educate, but like kind of show people like, hey, this is possible and pretty freaking cool.
Yes. Yeah. I can't wait to hear that stuff, man. Like I said, please send me some private links and I will geek out. I've really enjoyed geeking out with you on this podcast. We could talk for days about this stuff.
Oh,
man.
yeah. I've had many people tell me I should have like a music history podcast.
Yeah.
Like sometimes in my TikTok lives, I kind of do that where I'll just like deep dive on certain blues artists and stuff. And that's kind of why I know about Blind Willie McTell and Curly Weaver and Barbecue Bob is because I like went and studied them on TikTok live and like really tried to like bring this stuff to light, you know, because like people talk about Robert Johnson, but Robert Johnson recorded in 1937, y'all. And like, you know how much shit had come before him? Like, I mean, Son House, Charlie Patton, Blind Blake, Blind Willie McTell, all these dudes were already like maybe even dead by then, you know? And it's like Robert Johnson gets like, everybody talks about Robert Johnson, but Robert Johnson was really like 20
Is it just
years
the
into
lore
it.
that surrounded him with the crossroads stuff?
Yeah, and like even that's so disputed. And like, have you ever heard the whole theory that like those 28 songs or whatever were recorded with the recorder set a little fast?
Oh, really?
Have you ever heard this theory?
No, I haven't.
So if you go on YouTube, there is someone went and took it and slowed it down a couple clicks, and it sounds way more human. Like those recordings, he sings so freaking high. And his guitar playing is so frantic and crazy. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, like, you slow it down and it's actually, like, in more standard tunings. And it's like a couple clicks fast. And no one has ever, like, released it slowly, but you can find it on YouTube. But, like, it's kind of crazy that, like, it kind of changes the vibe of the whole recordings because it's not, like, it doesn't have this like raw energy to it. It's a little more like laid back and human, you know? And so like, there's a lot of lore to it, but a lot of it is bullshit. You know, it's like,
like most lore. Yeah.
like supposedly Robert Johnson and Son House went to Charlie Patton to learn. Charlie Patton is probably the real one, you know, like Charlie Patton is probably the real Robert Johnson.
We will check that out as well. But yeah, that's interesting. I think we've learned a hell of a lot in this short space of time talking to you, man. But is there anything else that you want to plug, mate? I know we've got the new music coming out, and
Grateful Blues will be out October 10th. We got 2 more singles dropping. I'm about to start dropping press releases to premiere some videos. We got vinyl and CD pre-orders open on my Bandcamp. We already had many. I might have to do another vinyl order at this rate. Awesome. So y'all keep ordering it, and I'll keep ordering them. I'll keep making music. I got a brand new website, scottlowsongs.com. It's super fancy. I feel like it's way too fancy for my hillbilly ass, but it's real nice. And I thank you, my buddy Justin up in Asheville made it for me. And so yeah, you know, lots of new stuff coming. And I'm like I say, I'll probably be once I'm gonna let Grateful Blues settle in for a month or two. Then I'm probably announcing a new record because you only live once.
Hell yeah, man. And in between, we can catch you on TikTok doing your lives. And if people want to reach out to you, where's the best place to get you? Is it Instagram, Facebook, or
anywhere? And I mean, in this day and age, you got to be open to all avenues. You know, I kind of hate Meta, but that's another discussion. You know, like I really been putting my energy into TikTok. And, there's a great supportive, back to community, man. TikTok supports musicians way better than Meta.
Yeah, it was, I only started delving into that last year, and it's really interesting. I found such a cool community just over there that exists on TikTok. They're not even on Instagram or Facebook, and it's,
I have found so many fans and friends through TikTok, even a keyboard player is on my record. It's like, and I feel like the algorithms of Meta just squash promotion and really don't, like, unless you're like the 1%, you gotta freaking fight for it, or pay for it is really what it is,
You're not wrong there, mate. So there you go. Well, you know where to find Scott. Look, I really appreciate you coming on, mate. I've loved this conversation, and we'll put all the links up in the description as well. But appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hell yeah, high five.